hopefully this all works out. I can edit it and post. Um, Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm not too sure what this is going to be. It's probably just going to be a random series of videos that I do of thoughts that I had over the past couple months or years or even years going forward in my life. And I just want to get better at articulating my thoughts. And I just think that maybe posting it to YouTube, recording it, can kind of just help in the way I talk and the way I think and the way I can think on my feet lighter and lighter and just help me get better at talking to people in general. If you do find this video, then you probably saw the title and you were probably thinking of what angle this is going to be. And I'm going to take a philosophy angle, but first let me just explain what my brighter premise is. And I don't know if any other people have thought of something as similar as I haven't done a whole lot of research, but this is just something I was thinking about just one day, randomly. So just get right into it. You have reason and you have emotion. And I believe that every decision that a human makes is put into a spectrum between both, with reason being all devoid of all emotion, emotion devoid of all reason, and in the middle, perfectly balanced between reason and emotion. Now, I believe that every single person is different. And I believe if you take two different people and put them in the same exact scenario, they're going to choose a different spot on that spectrum. Okay. And I believe different personalities or different things that happen in your life, almost every single aspect of your life can determine where you're going to more likely choose on that spectrum. For example, someone that is very well learned, has a lot of just been around of a lot of older people, and kind of has a more professional job, like a lawyer, is going to choose mainly on the side of reason. While someone that maybe takes the job of a therapist, maybe has more close friends, and is more in the moment, is going to choose more emotional. Now, I'm going to do some sort of defining of reason and emotion just so I can get this idea across. And just know these are not the actual dictionary definitions of what they are. These are just how I'm going to describe them in this way that kind of makes it easier to fit my overall perspective here. Reason is going to be actual factual truth. It is going to be no matter what happens, there is a reason that we can divide to find a truth of a subject, no matter what perspective it is. Emotion is going to be the truth to us, what we feel is right, what we think is true. Reason is you can almost think, well, you should always choose the decision that's going to be based on pure factual evidence. And I'm here to say that is just not true. Sure, maybe it just seems that way at front, but when you really think into it, it doesn't make sense. You cannot reason out a quick haste decision, a life or death, fight or flight decision. You are almost always going to be emotional no matter who you are. But at the same time, if you have time to make a big decision, for example, job promotion or staying loyal, it's going to take reason and less emotion to make that decision. No one is ever going to take the same place on that spectrum. Kind of between there, right? I think that that's just what, and I'm not saying that someone that chooses emotion is going to be always wrong either. Like I said before, there are going to be times when you're going to want to choose emotion is going to trump over reason. But I think that if you have these two in your idea, then at any point you can never make a wrong choice. You're simply making a choice, and those consequences are going to be relate to whether that reason or that emotion. For example, if you try to reason out a relationship, most likely that relationship's not going to work. It doesn't matter who you are. You can use it in some situations, but most of the time, if you do not tap into that emotional side, that relationship isn't going to work. Now, at the same time, if you only use emotion for that type of reason, instead of using any reason, you're going to be clashing together because everybody's different. Everyone has a different variety of emotions, no matter what their perspective is. You almost have to find a weak spot. A spot where you're close enough where you guys can both work in unison, even if you don't see eye to eye. And that is beautiful. That is just straight beautiful. I just want to say that. I also think that the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about the world around you, the more you'll learn in whatever subject. The decisions regarding that subject in that time of your life that you have learned and put time in equates to wisdom. And I believe that wisdom is simply just narrowing that gap where the consequences of your decisions become better and better. You know precisely where that side of the spectrum you should make your decision on and how much of reason and emotion you should balance. If you kind of want a little bit of a visualization, take the JJK character that takes mathematical spots on a monster's body and knows exactly where to hit the weak spot to do maximum damage. That's kind of how I think of it, and how I'm probably going to put it on the thumbnail. And I think that you can never ever be perfect. You can never pick the right decision in any scenario. You might get better consequences than if you pick something else, but I don't think you can ever truly get perfect. And maybe even if you do, your next decision won't be perfect either. In a sense, no one is special. You have a chance to become special, but if you're special, everyone's special. At that point, no one's special. It's just whenever I make a decision, and this is mainly for me, right? I'm going to be watching this back. This is for me. I don't expect anyone else to hear it. I just want to get better conversational skills. When I think of me, whenever I come up to a decision that makes me have to choose between the emotional side versus the reason side, I have to make that quick decision, which my brain is able to, on how much I should put into both. And within that, the I devise is right. What I think is better, which will mostly be emotion, but I can also force my brain to take some patience to step onto the reason side if it needs reason. I don't think anyone can ever have perfect decisions every single time, except for one person. And that person lived 2026 years ago. Anyway, that's my thought. Bye.